Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Jaden Brannon.
And I'm Summer Miller. We begin tonight with a stormy day in central Oklahoma.
The National Weather Service is surveying tornado damage after a round of storms this morning, and Colton Williams says there's another round of heavy rain on the way.
Let's get over to him for the very latest. Colton?
Yeah, that's right, ladies. Saw a couple of brief spin-ups early this morning. Now as a line of showers and storms moved across the Oklahoma City metro. Right now, a few, 2 or 3 unconfirmed tornadoes, one that is confirmed. This is video of one of those. Now, this is a video coming from Andrew Messersmith out of Goldsby. That's a funnel now coming down from a wall cloud. And this one never actually ended up producing a tornado, but hey, a funnel's a funnel, and that is close to producing, and that is very similar to some of the tornadoes that were produced in some parts of the western and the eastern Oklahoma City metro today. So good looking video coming out there. Now, again, this line of showers and storms, it was loud, heavy rain, lots of heavy rain, very little lightning, but again, just small tornadoes and brief spin-ups on the leading edge. This thing has now moved off. It's nearly into the Arkansas and Missouri regions now, as round 2 is locked and loaded in the Texas Panhandle. Now, this is where one brief spin-up, this is confirmed, EF0 tornado in Mustang. That's about 20 miles west and northwest of Norman, but then 2 other unconfirmed tornadoes along Highway 177 in Pottawatomie County. Those are still being surveyed to figure those out. All right, now right now across the metro, it's quiet here, really across anywhere near Oklahoma City. Again, a couple showers and storms going on out in the far west, and that's all part of wave number 2. This is more rain overnight tonight. This is going to explode up into Oklahoma, bring lots of heavy rain overnight tonight. We could certainly use some more of this. Okay, now again, today saw 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch in Norman. Some folks saw over 1 inch, and we've got more on the way, and I'll have those rain totals coming up here in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Colton. And the strong storms brought plenty of rain to the campus area, and that means flash flooding. OU Nightly's Dana Searles is live with the story. Dana?
As you can see, my feet are submerged in water. Cars are even driving by, splashing up water at me, all from the storms that came through this morning, which creates a hot topic that's usually talked about here in Norman, the flooding. Flooding on campus is something many students can't avoid.
If it covers over my rims, so like my tire and then part of my rims, that's when I know it's bad. So it's like a good 6 or 7 inches, and that's just like by the curb, because that'll be the deepest part.
Whether you are driving, walking, or biking to class, expect to cross some puddles along the way. The city of Norman is aware of the flooding issue, but says it has been difficult to address it.
Norman has struggled with that due to a lack of funding. That's really it. We know where the flooding is. We know how to fix it.
With the rain continuing and storms coming to Norman, it affects some ways students get to class.
One of my roommates drives a very small car, and when it rains real good rain, I tell her she's not allowed to drive because she will get swept away.
Bottom line, Norman has continued to struggle with flooding despite many complaints.
The water was over the curbs. And even in the middle, that's how you know it gets really bad.
And with that, we know that Norman is no stranger to flooding, so be aware as those storms could be coming through tonight. Reporting live, Dana Searles, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Dana. New developments in the student loan forgiveness plan. Right now, it's on hold. OU Nightly's Amaya Ward is following the story. She joins us live in the newsroom with more details. Amaya?
Yeah, Summer, a federal appeals court has put a temporary hold on President Joe Biden's one-time federal loan forgiveness plan, delaying the implementation of the widespread loan cancellation. The order came from the 8th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in St. Louis and Nebraska versus Biden, a case brought by 6 Republican-led states. While it hasn't completely blocked the program, the order just means that the Biden administration cannot discharge any student loans until the court officially rules on the injunction request. 22 million students have already signed up, and the Biden administration is optimistic they will prevail over any court challenge. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Amaya. Student loans and the economy are big issues in the upcoming election, and if you can't vote in person, you'll want to be sure to request an absentee ballot. Oklahoma's deadline to request those ballots is today. You'll have to apply in line by 5 today if you want to receive an absentee ballot. Head to the website oklahoma.gov/election to fill out the information. You'll have to get that ballot notarized before you send it in. The other option is to take part in early voting in Oklahoma. That takes place November 2nd through the 5th.
A deadly school shooting in St. Louis, Missouri took place earlier this morning. Carolyn Felling has that and the rest of today's national and international headlines from the News Center.
Yeah, guys, as the Justice
Department responds to the January 6th Capitol assault. COVID-19 holds a day in trial for the right-wing militia group Oath Keepers. Their leader, Stuart Rhodes, tests positive for COVID. The charge against the Oath Keepers expresses that the Justice Department seizes the branch of the Capitol as a grave threat to the operation of the U.S. government. As for when this trial will resume, the judge says it may be delayed until Rhodes tests negative. In a scary moment for high school students as a gunman opened fire in a St. Louis Performing Arts high school this morning. Right now, 2 people are dead and at least 7 are injured. Police say an adult woman is one of the victims, another a teenage girl found dead on the scene. Right now, police have not identified the suspect, but say he appeared to be about 20 years old. That suspect is also dead. And a new era is about to begin in the United Kingdom. On Tuesday, Rishi Sunak will resume the position as the new Prime Minister. Sunak will be the first person of color to serve for the UK's highest office. He'll take over for ongoing PM Liz Truss, who held office for only 45 days. So far, Sunak has been quiet about his policy plans for the future, but analysts say he appears more moderate than recent candidates. 2 climate change protesters threw mashed potatoes all over a Monet painting at a museum in Germany on Sunday. Fortunately, the painting was under glass and unharmed. Jaden, Summer, back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Carolyn. Stay tuned to see how you can give back this Christmas season with traditional bells and red bucket donations.
And Halloween is right around the corner, but Casper may not be the only thing scaring people this year. Stick around to see what may frighten you this Halloween season.
Is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
Meet the Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you!
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Welcome back, and now inflation is haunting consumers this Halloween. Olivia Dake has that story and more in Money Matters. Olivia?
Jaden, we all know inflation is hurting our wallets, and many of us have to sacrifice to focus on necessities. In an Amber integrated poll, 60% said they're cutting back on eating out, entertainment, traveling, and groceries. And even those who want to help out those in need are struggling. The regional Oklahoma Food Bank says food orders delivered in 2 to 3 weeks might take 2 months now. And before you toss a few extra coins into that iconic red kettle, the Salvation Army needs your help. They're asking for volunteers to ring the bells. Shifts are from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., and you can work a few hours or the whole day. The money goes directly to people in central Oklahoma, helping them with essential needs. Sign up at registertoring.com, and thanks to our partners at News 9 for this video. And scary movies and haunted houses aren't the only thing to be frightened by this season. Halloween inflation is spooking consumers' wallets. If you're passing out candy this year, budget an extra 13% for sweets due to inflated costs of sugar and flour. As for those costumes, you might see an increase too. Clothing prices have jumped 5.5% since last year. And if you're a pumpkin spice lover like me, you're going to pay for it this year. With a combination of inflation and demand, the premium for pumpkin spice coming in at 14% more than those traditional products. Summer, Jaden.
Thanks, Olivia. When OU Nightly returns, hear how business owners are supporting each other over a cup of coffee.
And you might want to keep your umbrellas handy because I heard there's more rain on its way. Let's check in with Colton to see what we can expect. Colton?
Yeah, that's right, Jaden. There is another round of rain and storms on its way. It'll be here in the next several hours. I'll have all those details coming up in just a few minutes.
To Sofia and Gabriel. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love. These stitches and threads join us together. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Central and Midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are, they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter what you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
All right, welcome back to OU Nightly. Thanks for joining us. I'm Colton Williams. Now, you woke up earlier than the sun this morning. You actually got to experience the high today. High temperatures this morning peaked out around 5 o'clock. It was in the lower 70s, was warm and humid, felt more like a springtime morning this morning. Before then, depending on where you were, the cold front rolled through, and within a matter of minutes, temperatures dropped like a rock. Right now, we're still struggling to even make 60. Cool and rainy. Went from one extreme to another as this first fall cold front really arrived this morning. And now, again, feels really more like fall out there right now. We've got a thin layer of clouds hanging out. There's been a peak of sunshine or two coming out over the last hour or so. But right now, again, still hanging out in the middle to upper 50s, some lower 60s here in some spots in the metro. There's a little more sun in far southern and southwestern Oklahoma. Maybe peak into the middle 60s, but elsewhere, everybody hanging out in the middle to upper 50s, even a couple 40s in the far western parts of Oklahoma's panhandle. And that's going to continue into tonight with a chillier evening. Now, right now, again, it's quiet up and down I-35 here in central Oklahoma, but you can start to see the next round of rain and storms entering far southwestern Oklahoma. That's going to come in later tonight. Right now, doing some heavy rain, looking into Amarillo, down I-40 here to the Texas Panhandle. Even a severe thunderstorm warning or two. These are going to explode up into Oklahoma as we go into the evening this evening in the early hours of tomorrow morning. All right, so again, tonight looking at a Another 100% chance of rain. This will be lighter rain, though. Won't be looking at a big band of heavy rain like we saw this morning, but much of Oklahoma going to see a 100% chance of rain tonight and into tomorrow morning. Again, chilly night overnight tonight. It'll be in the middle to lower 40s. Again, rain will continue overnight. Before then tomorrow morning, it'll exit off to the east. I think by the time you get ready for the morning commute tomorrow morning, rain will have ended for the most part in the Oklahoma City metro. It'll have moved off into the Tulsa metro and into far northeastern Oklahoma. And then tomorrow actually going to dry out really quickly. Tomorrow, middle 60s. Lots more sunshine tomorrow than we had today, as we will kick off more of a more stable pattern into the next couple of days. Okay, now again, the round of rain tonight, this is additional rainfall on top of the inch and a half some of us have already gotten. Maybe looking 2/3 to an additional inch here in central Oklahoma. Off into eastern Oklahoma, could still see 1 to 2 to maybe 3 to 4 additional inches of rain with the next round. Okay, now looking up top now, got this big storm system going on here in the far southern parts of our country. Again, this is really the only game in town across the country right now, and that's going to continue the next couple of days. This will be the big story maker. It'll be much more rain and storms, move off towards the Great Lakes. We will be seasonal here in Oklahoma Wednesday and into Thursday. Before then, Thursday night and into Friday, we'll see another round of rain and storms move in here. Another cold front. This will leave us in the 50s for Friday coming up here later into the week. Okay, now again, I think Thursday night and into Friday, we'll see another 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch in central and eastern Oklahoma. I think western Oklahoma will miss out just a little bit more on this next round. So again, middle to upper 60s today and tomorrow. Maybe peak out by Thursday and into the 70s. Before then, here comes that cold front for the 50s on Friday. We'll be back in the 70s by this time next week. Ladies, back to you.
Thanks, Colton. 1 Million Cups has less to do with cups and more to do with business. The name 1 Million Cups comes from the coffee that spurs conversations about local business. The volunteer-driven forum is a safe place for local startup businesses to talk about their new ideas while receiving helpful feedback from local leaders. Jordan Caldwell is a business owner who has taken full advantage of the 1 Million Cups forum across the country.
I've made a lot of good connections. There's a lot of small companies that are just starting, so it's nice to hear everyone's story, problems they've had, being able to help them able to help us.
1 Million Cups meets the first Wednesday of every month at 424 West Main Street.
And the Sooners finally got a weekend off from football this last Saturday, but are gearing up to take on the Iowa State Cyclones this week. Zoe Watson has more in sports about what Sooner Nation can expect to see. Zoe?
Yes, Jaden. Coming next in sports, an OU football coach tells you what their biggest challenge is Saturday. And our Tyler DeLuca breaks down the Thunder's home opener. Sports is next.
Your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane. You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
Meet the Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you!
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Zoe Watson, it's time for sports. The Thunder tipped off their first home game of the season against the Minnesota Timberwolves on Sunday night. Lou Dort led the Thunder with 20 points, but it wasn't enough for OKC. Anthony Edwards was on fire, scoring 30 points and taking the win for the Timberwolves 116-106. Our Tyler DeLuca has more from the Paycom Center.
Season story for the Oklahoma City Thunder was drafting Chet Holmgren with the #2 overall pick, but then he was ruled out for the season with an injury. Then before tonight's home opener against the Minnesota Timberwolves, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was ruled out with an injury for the game. And then in the second half, Josh Giddey went back to the locker room with a right ankle sprain. And with those three out, that left Mark Daigneault with the challenge of trying to field the best 5 on the floor.
You know, just trying to find the best group we could. So, I mean, we trust every guy. And if the game's not going the way we want it to go, we're going to give guys opportunities. We're trying to learn our team, and we're also trying to be really competitive. And if you're competing, then you're going to, you'll stay out there for roles.
That's something special about our team is that anybody should be ready to go in because everybody can play for us. So I think it's important for everybody just to stay ready and to compete and do what they do best.
It felt good to be back in here. Feel pretty upset that we couldn't get a win for the first home game, but it felt great playing with the energy and playing with our crowd behind our back. So
that is game 1 of 41 finished here at the Paycom Center for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Next up, the Los Angeles Clippers come to town on Tuesday. Reporting from the Paycom Center in Oklahoma City, Tyler DeLuca, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Tyler. After the bye week for the Sooners, they're heading up to face Iowa State. Last year, Oklahoma beat the Cyclones 28-21. Defensive coordinator Jeff Lebby commends Iowa State's nationally ranked defense.
They've got pieces at every part of the defense that are playing really good football, and I think that's why you see them top 10 in so many stats. They've got some guys that have honestly are playing above their head, and it's because of buy-in, it's because of effort, and they've done a great job.
And Oklahoma soccer started off strong with a 2-0 lead against the West Virginia Mountaineers, but ultimately fell 3-2 on Sunday. The Sooners are already clinched their spot in the Big 12 soccer tournament on October 30th. And the Sooner football won 15-5 and 14-2 in 2 different scrimmages against McLennan College. Lynch's very own Bryce Madron hit 2 grand slams on Sunday. OU baseball is coming up off of a national runner-up season. And former Sooner star Ramondre Stevenson and the New England Patriots play the Chicago Bears tonight on Monday Football. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Zoe. I think my dog is the cutest thing ever, and other owners think the same thing about their furry friends.
Well, then your pup might qualify to make some big bucks. Stick around to see how your dog could become a company's newest influencer.
To Sofia and Gabriel. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love. These stitches and threads join us together. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight, both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back, because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Central and Midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are, they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, Am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter what you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
I'm Coy Taylor at the OU Nightly Update Desk. Texas began in-person early voting today. Voters in the Lone Star State have until November 4th to vote early, according to Edison Research and Catalyst. So far, nearly 7.3 million ballots have been cast across 39 states. For more information about early voting or how to cast a ballot in your area, contact your local election authority. Summer, Jaden?
Thanks, Coy. Now it seems everyone is positively sure their pup is the doggone cutest around.
And if you think yours is too, your dog could make up to $10,000 a year.
That's right, Yappy.com is looking to hire their chief fluff officer.
They just require your pet to take adorable pictures while modeling the website's gifts. Be sure to get your applications in by November 18th.
Now, choosing just one is so difficult. I have no idea how they're going to be able to make that decision.
If it were up to me, every single dog would be the winner.
I totally agree. When my dog give me those puppy eyes, I give in every single time. She's just so freaking cute.
How do you tell them no, right?
You can't, and well, we're just going to have to let them make that decision. Let's check in one last time with Colton to see what the weather looks like for the rest of our week.
Yeah, ladies, your evening commute this evening will mostly be dry here in the Oklahoma City Metro, especially if you kick off your drive home here within the next several minutes. That's because Wave 2 is still hanging out in the Texas Panhandle, but this is slowly making its way into western Oklahoma. This again will increase in coverage as it makes its way towards I-35 overnight tonight. Some heavy localized rainfall, but overall won't be quite as widespread as it was this morning. Now again, as we head into the 8:30 and 9:30 hours this evening, you see a big complex. This is going to become kind of a mess this evening. Again, some pockets of heavy rain as it makes its way towards I-35. This will extend overnight tonight again and into the early hours of tomorrow morning. This is 4:30 tomorrow morning now, so if you're an early riser or you have a very early commute, your commute could be wet tomorrow morning. Before then, this is going to clear out. We're going to dry out really by the mid-morning hours tomorrow morning, and then this round of rain will be on its way out here. So again, headed up into the 60s for tomorrow and into Wednesday. May touch 70 on Thursday if we're lucky. Before then, another round of showers and storms with a cold front. This is going to bring in 50s for Friday, 70s by this time next week. Ladies?
Thanks, Colton, and thank you for watching OU Nightly.
Be sure to tune in weekdays live at 4:30. Good night.
Where does your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important